So for those folks who aren't familiar with it, I'm sure you'll cover this in your presentation, but give us kind of a condensed idea of what Jim's journey is about.
Good, I'll be happy to. Jim's Journey, this is our 10-year anniversary, 2023, and our mission is to educate. I have 3 areas of focus. I start out talking about the fact that it's Jim, and that means that's in reference to Jim from Huckleberry Finn. Jim is a real man, based on a real man named Daniel Quarles. And Mark Twain says that in his autobiography. And then I also talk about Mark Twain, or Samuel Clemens, the humanitarian, and talk about the African Americans he impacted in one way or another. And lastly, I talk about Hannibal's African American community.
So at a time when, Jim was based on Daniel, at a time when it was just out of slavery and African Americans were not as widely accepted in society in a lot of places. Why do you think Twain took the effort to characterize him as the way he did?
Good. I'm thinking that, he grew up around them. He grew up playing with them. They were everywhere he was at. And in fact, Daniel was born on his uncle's farm in Florida. Not born. He met Daniel on his uncle's farm in Florida, Missouri. Daniel actually had been bought, sold, gifted, traded, and ended up here in Missouri. Samuel, what he did was he had a real appreciation for education. And so the people, the African Americans that he impacted and helped, were primarily striving to be educated post-emancipation. And one of my favorites is a man named Warner T. McGuinn. He was a law student at Yale, and he happened to run into Twain and Samuel Clemens. He knew he was a wealthy man, and he said he was struggling to get through law school, working several jobs. So Twain wrote a letter to the dean and said, I'm going to pay his room and board. So McGuinn was able to graduate at the top of his class. He practiced law in Baltimore and then in Kansas City. Kansas City is where he met Thurgood Marshall. So I get to say that Twain impacted the integration of schools, or had an impact, or was somewhat responsible because of that relationship with McGuinn and McGuinn's relationship with Thurgood Marshall.